Good morning all. Thanks a lot for joining us today for this webinar on digitizing legacy POS for omni-channel integration. I'm Dinesh and I'll be your host for today. Let me quickly introduce our today's speakers. Harry, who heads the Global Enterprise Integration Practice at Aspire Systems, has over 2 decades of experience in the integration field. And Ratnavil is an integration architect with 10 years of experience in the industry. In today's webinar, Ratna will show us a demo on how to digitize legacy POS using Aura's platform. Before we begin, there are some house rules on the usage of BrightTalk portals. We request everyone to put their phones on mute to avoid background noise. And if someone asks a question, please write it down in the question section and all your questions will be answered at the end of the webinar. With no further delay, I would request Harry to start the webinar. Over to you, Harry.
Thank you, Dinesh. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are connected from. Thanks for joining this this presentation. So the webinar has been split into 2 portions. First, I will be walking through the the agenda of this webinar with more architectural approach and practices and how things are there. And subsequently, Ratnavil will follow and demonstrate how to make a legacy POS to be connected with the digital devices through our platform solution. So let's jump into the agenda. So since the webinar topic is more on the legacy POS and digitalization, let me start with the challenges in the legacy POS system. Why it is called a legacy POS system? What are the challenges that enterprises are going through? And what is the market share for the legacy POS system as well as the modern cloud-based POS system? What is the market share, where we are now, and things like that I will be covering up. And subsequently, we will be going into the need of omni-channel while looking at the challenge of the legacy POS and how those challenges can be addressed with the help of omni-channel integration approach. And omni-channel, why we need omni-channel integration approach, and how this omni-channel integration approach helps to enable the legacy applications to communicate with the digital devices or collaborate with the digital devices. And the second portion of that is more on Aura's. So Aura's is Aspire's unified reference architecture, which is more on best practices and the architectural framework that we come up with to address the omni-channel integration requirements, and also to address how we can make the legacy POS system as digitalized and things like that. And not just a theory, but also to demonstrate on how things will work. Ratnavil will talk about the Aura's demo with Micros POS system on how Micros POS can connect it to the can make it as a digital device and collaborate with the digital devices such as mobile devices. First, let's take a look at on the legacy versus modern cloud POS. So POS is in the industry for the past 40 years. Many enterprises, especially on the consumer industry, like retailers or restaurant or hospitality business, are leveraging the POS as a point of sale solution to sell their product and solutions to the customers. The market shows that $42 billion worth of global POS being adopted so far in the industry, out of which the modern POS, the cloud-based POS or iPad-based POS has been adopted only at $4 billion. This shows that out of the $42 billion, only $4 billion being converted into or adapted the modern technologies, remaining 90% of the POS in the market are still on the legacy POS system. Why we are calling legacy POS system, we will see that in the next few pages. So this shows that still there are a lot more business and industries are relying on the legacy POS system or the POS system that they are running with, and and they are all struggling on how to come out of that legacy complexity, and how to address that, or how to enable that to consume through the digital devices. The challenge in the legacy POS. As I said, legacy POSs or the POS systems are being used in the market for the past 40 years. And many enterprises would have adopted the POS or established their business over 15 years, 20 years, 40 years, 60 years. So the technology used at the store level, or the restaurant level, or the hotels where they are using this the POS systems maybe or should be a client server based model, because they are all built before the web enablement or web systems are coming into the modern world. So the companies using the POS systems more than 10 years must be using as a client server model, which is more of working like within the network of the store. So that creates a problem, because those legacy systems cannot interact with the digital devices or web systems at real time. They may not have a real-time capability. So many legacy systems are all running in a batch mode, which means that any data promotions to the systems or the data extraction from those legacy POS happens on a batch mode or more of nightly built. So real-time interaction appears to be nowhere possible. Second complexity are in the data isolation and unrelated challenges. Every POS system varies. There is no common standard across POS industry. So every POS system vary on their data model, on their interfacing model, on the way of capturing the data and processing the data within the system. There is a challenge on building something as a common technology that can go and adapt all those legacy POS systems. And the data also isolated within the POS, and extracting the data is really challenging for every enterprises, as and when they have to run through a lot of batch processes, multi-processes, scripting programs to extract a single information. So data has been isolated or complex enough to get or work with legacy POS system. The third biggest challenge migrating from legacy system to the modern cloud system is the user comfort. Many enterprises, many stores running more than 10 years, 15 years, and users are all very well sophisticated or very well adapted with the existing legacy POS system and the workflows built on that. Users may not be comfortable to adapt or change the systems, or there is an upside in the thought process of how they can adapt a new system, which are more cloud-based system. How it will work, how it will support. Always there is a hesitation. So user comfort has to come out. So many users may not be comfortable to adapt to new changes. That's another challenge that enterprises are going through. The last one is the lack of corporate governance. What that means is stores operates on their own. Store manager operates on their own. And changing or enforcing technology changes to those stores or franchisees or partner environment is challenging one, as there is always hesitation, restrictions, or time limitations that enforce that to take such a migration faster. At the same time, if you look at the consumer industry, the consumers, the customers who are all adopting the modern digital device and technologies faster than ever before. So they cannot, there is a gap between the adoption of the cloud POS or modern POS versus the customer expectations. How do we fulfill that gap? And that's where, there is a lack of corporate governance in the planning and execution of that. The last one is investment constraints. If you are running in a business, or if any enterprise is running in a business where the store is operated individually by a partner or franchisees, where when we incorporate enforcing certain technology changes, there is always a question comes from the partner or the franchisees on why such investment has to happen, and why the investment should be done at the franchisee level or the independent partner level to accommodate the corporate changes. So there is always investment questions comes into picture, and who will sponsor, who will funded for those technology migrations. So there is always challenge. While the industry is adapting the cloud-based systems from the legacy to modern cloud, still the phase of the adoption is very slow compared to the customers' expectations. The customers are interacting with this, wants to interact with the retailers or want to interact with the enterprises much faster than before. So there is always a gap on customer expectations versus and what technology adoption or changes happens. How do we solve this problem? As we know that the store operates on the legacy POS systems. They may not consume, they may not interact with web solutions, they may not be real-time ready, interaction ready, they may not be ready to collaborate with any social media, mobile devices on a real-time basis. The other side of that, the modern digital devices and the technologies, the cloud, the sales channels like e-commerce or marketplace or mobility or IoT devices or even social media selling, they're all going on a web and high speed. They're all advanced technologies which can collaborate with any systems together. So there is a gap between the technology of what we have in the store and what we have in the field. So how do we bridge that gap? To bridge that gap is what we need integration services. We clearly call it as omni-channel integration services because this integration services are common services to provide services and capability for the digital devices to interact with the store. But how do we connect to the store? Because store systems are not capable of consuming any web interfaces. So how do we make it? So we have to have something sitting on the store to facilitate that. There should be some integration component sitting on the store to facilitate that. So the integration component collaborate with the legacy POS system on a local native mode and interact with the digital devices at more of service mode. So we have to have something in place. And that's where the importance of omni-channel integration services comes into picture. It's a combination of integration processes and APIs that works together to fulfill both the digital need at the same time working along with the legacy systems on its native mode. With the power of omni-channel integration services, any legacy applications, legacy systems can collaborate with the modern cloud systems. So we need a common single platform for omni-channel transformations. Omni-channel transformation is challenging one because the enterprises running on the legacy applications has to adopt the omni-channels, which are more of modern web-enabled device and systems. So we should have a common single platform to accommodate that. And that's where Aspire comes with a platform solution called Auros Omni. Auros Omni is a well-defined reference architecture that addresses today's modern needs as well as the previous legacy application capabilities. Auros Omni comes with a common platform, and that platform combination of 3 modules. The base and the core module is Omni-channel integration services, which you are seeing in the bottom of that box. The Omni-channel integration services is a combination of integration processes and APIs. The combination of processes and APIs helps to collaborate with the corporate systems. The same APIs can be consumed by the omni-channel interfaces, omni-channel systems or devices and interact with the corporate systems. But the challenge here that we are talking today is on the legacy POS system. How do we address the legacy POS system? Because legacy POS cannot consume any APIs or cannot interface with APIs at real time. So as we discussed, we have to have a common component, and that's what we are presenting here as a store service bus or store service engine. It's a mini process component, integration process component that sits along with the POS system, the legacy POS system, and interact with the legacy POS system on a native mode. So either the legacy POS system supports file-based import-export, or file-based extraction, script running, or even the API mode, or database mode, or any other native protocol interface supported by any legacy POS system can be communicated or interacted by this store service engine. The store service engine provides capability to consume the APIs or interacting with the queue systems. That way, the system is capable of adapting both real-time, batch, or near real-time scenarios. The third component is analytical services. Analytical services more of a feeding services. These services are helping to capture the data transfer that happens between the corporate and the omnichannel and feed those data at a real-time streaming model to the intelligent systems. The intelligent system could be a data warehouse, it could be a data model or BI solution, or could be a advanced big data solution. Regardless of the solution, the system are capable of feeding the data at real time to those analytical devices. Corporate may use the corporate's common business technology, business analytics technology, or they can use the inbuilt reporting technology to see how the systems and behaviors are there. This may help the corporate to do the predictive analytics and then pushing the data back into the business side or omnichannels to give more promotions. We're talking about the source service bus that comes with heartbeats. Heartbeats can be detected with the help of heartbeats. Any daily data that we are delivering to the stores, we can deliver it at real time, or we can hold the data and deliver to them whenever the store is available. So any product promotions or pricing changes can be rolled out from corporate to all omni channels in single click, by one click, just to roll out to all omni channels. Or you want to customize it to specific channels, yes, you can do that. And vice versa, the omni-channel orders can be captured and bring it back to the corporate to manage the orders. So the order management system can manage it, or send the shipment notifications, or do the fulfillment, or filling that stock availability, or warehouse to warehouse movement. All those decisions can be taken with the help of data captured from the omni-channels. So Aura's Omni comes with the interfaces to do the both side collaboration. That's why we call it as a collaborative model to expose the data to the omni-channels and import the data from the omni-channels. Let's take a deeper dive. What we have here, we have a set of APIs, we have set of processes, integration process. We have pre-built set of APIs, pre-built set of processes. We have a queuing mechanism to persist the data while transitioning. We are adapted with the industry standard data modeling and data elements, business entities. We follow National Retail Federation or standard as the standards of mechanism to communicate with the omni-channel collaborations. We also follow open menus restaurant standards, so the restaurant customers can adopt the same approach here. So Auras by default supports product rollout, pricing rollout, promotional rollout, or inventory update, sales orders, customer profile, employee profile, or the POS events. Anything can be exchanged between your omni-channel and back office systems seamlessly. So Auras also comes with a pre-built auditing mechanism and portals. Auras portal is a solution where customer or operations team can manage the monitor and manage the omni-channel activities, the store operations, the performance of the interfaces, the delivery mechanisms. All of them can be managed operationally by the operational team without any technical knowledge. The Auras portal supports that. Just come back to this topic on this webinar. So we are talking about how to make a legacy POS systems as digital ready. So if you look at this diagram, this is where we need to talk about the store service engine or store service bus. So the central portion of that is the omni-channel integration services. As I said, omni-channel integration services is a predefined set of integration processes as well as the APIs. The left-hand side is the corporate systems. Those corporate systems pushing the product, pricing, and promotional data through the omni-channel integration services. The omni-channel integration services is a common platform that can collaborate with a web-enabled system as well as the legacy application systems. In this case, the legacy application system sits on the store in the form of POS. So how the POS can be collaborated? As you can see in the store side, there is a store service engine sits, and that interacts with the point of sale system in a native mode. The store service engine has a capability to call the APIs provided by the omni-channel integration services. Not only the API, but also consuming the queue data from the queues. So either you want to roll it out as a mass, real-time, one-by-one rollout, or you want to do a bulk rollout to all restaurants or all stores at real-time, you still can achieve this. If you go deeper look at the ORA's Omni-channel integration services, the OCIS portion, where you can see the two set of services. One is the publishing services, the other one is the distribution services. The publishing services capable of being consumed by the corporate systems to publish any promotional data, either new product rollout or a promotion rollout. The distribution services are the distribution capability services which take those data and push that to the corporate systems or omni-channel systems or the store systems depending upon the data or how you want to roll it out. The common component is the standards followed, and there is a pre-built schema validation, message validation, and enrichment activities as part of the integration processes that helps to streamline the overall back and forth communication. The services are hosted as APIs. The underlying processes are running as integration processes. The bottom layer is, as you see, that the omnichannel analytical services, which is a more of services provided to feed the data at real time to any of the analytical engines. Or the ORAS comes with its own portal, as I said. The portal also provides the data on where you want to capture and how the transaction is happening and how they can monitor. The store service engine acts as a heartbeat for the restaurants. Let's take a business scenario where you have thousands of stores, and some of the stores may be in a remote locations, and due to some technical challenges, those stores may not be available online. They may not be available. They may not be connected online. Now, with help of store service engine, where the heartbeat is coming out, we can detect that those stores are not available. Let's take the business scenario where a customer wants to place an order to a particular store in his region. Customer could go to your mobile device or online e-commerce site and place the order to store pickup. But when he places the order for store pickup, the store system is not available because they are not connected with the internet. So they are not available in the net. So we cannot deliver the data or the data to them. If that is the case, the order can be persisted in the omni-channel itself, omni-channel integration services itself, and delivered to the store whenever the store is available. At the same time, there will be alerting mechanism to identify and showcase that these things are happening. And that helps us to fix the problem and roll out the order details to the stores. That's where the store service engine plays a key role of not just enabling the collaboration between the legacy POS and stores with the digital devices, but also helps operationally to identify how the restaurants are performing or stores are performing, how they are available, what time they are available, is there any customer challenges that to connecting those systems and placing orders. And proactively monitoring, measuring that will help the organization to deliver the customer experience faster and more satisfactory. Okay, So what are the capabilities that we have? We have identified 18 key features of Aura's Omni platform that helps legacy POS systems to or legacy application or legacy enterprises to modernize their systems at the same time making a digital enablement faster. So we categorize that as the three sections as a business features, technical feature, realization feature. The business features are more of business driving features like omni-channel readiness. The Aura's platform comes with pre-built APIs and services for omni-channel rollout. It also supports business data rollout at real-time, near real-time, or the batch mode. Take an example, like you want to roll out a product to a particular country or the particular region at a particular timeline. If you want to roll out that at a particular time, particular region, available on a product rollout or pricing changes, you can do it with the configuration. So any specific region-specific rollout or any global rollout, you can do that in a single message-based model rather than doing changes in your application systems. And the data can be published, includes product pricing, deals, and even the customer profiles. All of them are standardized using the industry standard NRF and OpenMinnow. Legacy POS systems are enabled as a modern solution to consume the data from digital devices. So your systems can be collaborating at real time. Your legacy POS, your stores can collaborate with customer at real time, and real time in inventory update, real time order placement, real time status update can be captured and delivered to your customer for better customer experience. Digital ready, everything API services and digital ready services. So any existing digital devices, any digital applications, mobile application can consume the API, or any upcoming devices can also consume API, and it is also ready for IoT readiness. So any new beacons or sensors you want to feed the data, you still can do that with the help of API services. And most important business feature is the operational portal. And Ratnavil will show that on how operational portal will execute here, and he will show more detail about what are the features available in the operational portal. On the IT side of that, it becomes the industry's best standards, unified architectural model, hybrid hosting. Either you can host it on-premise or cloud or hybrid model, and comes with the standards of security standards like a 256-bit data encryption standards and things like that. Aspire as a company, come up with a solution. We help our customers to rapidly adopt this solution. So you don't need to wait for years to adopt your omni-channel solutions. You can start and kick off and roll it out much faster. We also comes with the DevOps process and the continuous integration delivery process to accelerate the deployment and lifecycle and accommodating the changes in the whole process. And there are a lot more features in Aura's. And the more it can be enabled to connect to existing eBay, Amazon connectors. It can connect to Amazon. It can be hosted in AWS. It can be interacting with the OLO partners and other things. With this, I like to stop here and hand it over to Ratnavil, since he is going to show more of demo on how the solution works, and he will be addressing the technical information on how the legacy POS system connected with the modern devices. Over to you, Ratna.
Thanks, Hari. Let me quickly share my screen here. So, as Hari was saying more about the business capabilities and the features the Aura's solution provides, actually Aura's bridges the gap between the legacy POS and the model digitalization efforts the organizations are carrying out, being it like mobile ordering and other features they are putting together. So let me quickly walk you through the Aura's portal, which is the command center of the entire maintenance of this solution. So as you log in into the portal, we have a dashboard which gives you a clear picture of how these locations of different stores are across the country. So if you look at the screen, we have a bunch of stores spread across the country. Some are green and red. So these are the active and inactive stores. And having said that, let me quickly jump over to the other capabilities of this system. This portal can help you manage the tenant level information, store level information, and user management. So this is one place where you can easily onboard a store that is being newly opened, or a franchisee that recently signed up. So that eases the process of onboarding the franchisees. So this is purely a management and administrative console where the operations support persons log in who are not that technical to manage the entire middleware solution. So one quick example is that we have this map view. Hari was saying about the heartbeats, which gives an idea about whether the store is online or offline. So this is one quick example I can show here. So we have a filter here with which we can choose between the active stores and the inactive stores. Based on the statuses and the heartbeats, we can take necessary actions to reach out the store to figure out what is actually going on and work on the system outages to make them back in business as quick as possible. We have notification alert systems tied up so that notifications are sent to the appropriate team and tickets created when needed. Talking about this tenant information and the store management, as we all know, not all the organizations are set up in the same way when it comes to the hierarchy. The system is so flexible that we can set up any level as a tenant. Maybe a typical example would be I can set franchisees as a tenant, and each franchisees, or for example, there are companies who owns multiple brands. So we can set up each brand or franchisee as a tenant, and each tenant can have multiple stores, and each stores can have different multiple users. Let me quickly get into the thing how our organization here differentiates brands. So let's take a company who's a franchisee. He owns more than one brand. For example, he sets up a shop in an airport where he has multiple brands. So if he has to differentiate between brands, he can set them up as tenants here. Other would be a parent company who wanted to have all their stores who operate on a franchisee model can set up their franchisees as tenants. So we give a lot of flexibility around here in creating tenants, stores, and users. When it comes to the easiness of onboarding, we have a couple of screens. You can onboard stores one at a time, or you can do a bulk import. You can create stores one at a time, or you can do a bulk import where we provide a structured XML where the end user can fill in exporting their store data from their Salesforce or other information center and upload it here. So this is one way of onboarding things. Apart from that, we also have extensive audit capabilities here. So we audit all the transactions that are happening very extensively. So this is a portal where support personnel can log in and see the transactions that are being passed through and identify the status of each transaction. So this is a screen where it shows different statuses of a transaction. For example, the first two shows success, and the third one shows it's received, where a message was received and it's being processed by the system. And we also have error scenarios. So this shows the error messages. So once you click on any of the transaction, it gives you a complete life cycle of a transaction from what is the unique transaction ID assigned to this request, and who is currently processing it, and the date of the transaction or the current state. And other thing is you also have a resubmit button on your left. For example, let's take the use case which Hari was saying. As an online user, I have placed an order and it has reached the system, and the end user, I would expect a successful confirmation immediate, which we do it from the mobile app. And at the back office process, the placed order has to be pushed to the nearest store. For example, it's a pizza delivery or online order pickup. So what happens there if the store is offline? With this system, like, you will be able to know the outages ahead of time. That is one part of it. Again, once the system is back online after the troubleshooting is done, we can resubmit the messages from here. That way it reaches the store and we are not losing any messages. As I was talking about resubmitting, like, we have a couple of ways to do it. Like, one is like submitting a message one at a time. For example, a serious outage will make like thousands of messages to fail, like our store being a key location or something like that. So to handle those scenarios, we do have another screen here or another key feature where we like move the messages in bulk. It's kind of a batch processing. Once the store is back in business, we move these errored messages into the reprocessing queue. So these are some of the features we have with the portal. Let me quickly jump to the other section of it, the store service engine, which Hari was talking about, which does the most of the heavy lifting in interacting natively with the POS system and pushing and like updates to the headquarters part of it. So to achieve that piece of the complexity and the puzzle, like, what we have is the Windows installer. This is like any other installer. You just click on it and then install it. It takes few inputs. For example, let's say about this particular installer. This is the installer that was designed for Oracle Micros RES 3700 version 5.4. We have different other similar installers. So let me quickly see like how this helps us do that job. This takes few inputs. For example, the underlying credentials for the underlying Sybase database and the installation status and like how did the installation end up? Because these are not done by a technical person, it's done by a support people. Let me quickly accept the agreement here and then go over. So it takes basic few credentials to validate, and then my installation is done. So this leverages Auras to enable the legacy POS systems to interact with the modern API world. So before I even wrap the installation, we all know, right? Like any POS server in the industry, like in the restaurant or in a store, doesn't directly connect to the internet. There are like two channels, one for the internal purpose and one for the internet connection. So if the system was not configured right, here is a screen like towards the end of the installation, we will be knowing whether the installation was successful or not. If not, like where it went wrong. This installation, like the connection to the POS database connection was successful, whereas this particular POS server was not equipped to connect to the internet. That shows like a failure when it tries to access. So let me quickly finish this and move on to the brain behind all this, the APIs. This is the Auras API store. If you have a look at it, we have about 33 APIs that are pre-built to solve different purposes of this. We have APIs to receive sales orders from the stores or restaurant and to push promotions to store or restaurant. And we have out-of-the-box installation for Olo. Just to give you a quick note on Olo, like most restaurants, to overcome this legacy POS difficulties, are working with Olo to enable them quickly jump into the order, like online ordering. For example, Red Robin or IHOP or Applebee's, all they have is like they quickly use this. So we can directly connect with any third party, or we can enable you do it. And we also have a bunch of mobile APIs. In the next few minutes, I'll show you a quick use case, how we have put all these pieces in action. So the use case I'm about to show is a mobile app. So I have a mobile app here. So what it all does is take a zip code, lists you a list of restaurants available in the particular zip code, or like in a 10 miles radius. And once we choose the restaurant, it gives me the menu for the particular restaurant. So it's a localized menu for each of the restaurant is what we are trying to show. And the next part of the demo would be like, I'll be updating the price information of a particular menu item in a particular store, and we are going to see how that is getting reflected in the mobile app instantly. And I am going to use one of the mock stores we have set up that uses Micros RES 3700 as their POS server. So I'm keying in one of the zip codes. It's actually my zip code. So this is one of the Pancake House is one of the mock stores we have set up. So we have a list of menu items for that store. Let's say like I have a bunch of pancakes here. Now let me quickly jump into the POS server side. This is a POS server. I'm opening the POS configurator of Micros RES 3700, and I'll be choosing the menu items and updating a price of it. Right now, the Hedgie and Pancake is set to have a price of $10. I'm going to make it 5, maybe like a store-specific change, and I have the flexibility to choose the effective dates, and I'm saving the change here. So let's go back to the mobile app and show you the Hedgie and Pancakes price is updated to $5. Let me go back again and increase it to $7. See, the old price now is $5. So once I refresh the screen, I'll have it back for $7. It's up to us how we define this application, mobile application, to reflect the price. So this is one of the use cases we can quickly achieve, leveraging the APIs that we have with the ORS platform. And I can quickly show you the APIs that we use for these functions. We have a bunch of APIs here. Let me quickly open this menu-based API. So once we open API, it gives you a clear picture of the version management, the complete life cycle of a API here, where you can like the overview and the different URLs for that, and a API console where you can test the API documentation, and if you have any questions, you can have a forum and then have threads created. This is supposed to be a self-service portal as well, so you can even rate the APIs, This helps the discovery of APIs among the organizations much easier. So this price update is one of the quick examples we can show you for the purpose of demo. And I'll quickly pass the control to Hari, where he will be giving you more elaborate use cases which we can achieve leveraging ORS as our middleware solution for this matter.
Thank you, Ratna. Such a wonderful demo. So as we have seen here, we have demonstrated, how pricing changes happens at the store level can reflect in the mobile solution, where the customer interacting with the mobile solution, how quickly they can see that the changes happens here. This is just a sample, just a small use case that we wanted to show here. But this is not just a limitation of that. There is plenty of other things that we can achieve. We can achieve the pricing changes. We can introduce a new product at real time. We can introduce the deals at real time. Also, when you are, very important piece of information is inventory update. There are many use cases that we are seeing in real life where when we are looking at the solution, or when you're looking at the product in the mobile app or any web portal, where we are looking at the product available in the particular store, when we reach the store, the product already gone, or maybe the product itself is not there. So how quickly we can alert, how quickly we can send a notification to customer that this particular product is not available, or this particular product is available in the mobile app or mobile messaging. Those kind of scenarios also we can achieve it. Not only that, if you want to do your promotions to your social media, you can do the promotions through the social media APIs that we created, where you can push the data to your to your Facebook or Twitter accounts and showcase that there is a deal going on in your store. Either store can trigger that, or you can trigger that using your corporate systems on a massive scale. So there are a lot of other scenarios, that can be achieved as with the help of integration processes as well as the integration APIs. As we have shown that, the APIs are helpful here to make it digital, and the engine, the store service engine that we specially created for the legacy applications, helps to enable the legacy applications to interact with the corporate systems or corporate application or omni-channel applications seamlessly. I think that's what we want to cover it up. If you have any questions, please throw your questions. We will come up with a subsequent demo on showing other capabilities of ORS, and as well as showing a new features on how we can interact with beacons and other devices at later point. Over to you, Dinesh.
Thank you, Hari. Thanks, Ratna, for the wonderful demo. So before we move on to the Q&A section, I would like to introduce you to Aspire Systems. So we are a global technology services firm, and we work with some of the world's most innovative enterprises and independent software vendors, helping them leverage technology and outsourcing in specific areas of expertise like software engineering, digital services, testing, infrastructure, and application support. Now, let us take some questions posted by our audience. So, Hari, the first question is, can ORS support both legacy as well as modern POS, and how ORS can support both of it?
Okay. So, the legacy, as we have seen that the legacy POS systems, can be enabled for the digital with the help of store service engine. The store service engine is a kind of a client for the APIs. Interact with the client, interact with the APIs, and then help the and collaborate with the POS system on a native mode to communicate, build a communication channel between the legacy POS and the APIs. The second one is how modern POS, like a cloud POS, can be connected. So the ORS also comes with the client components, the API client components, as part of the distribution services, as we have seen in one of the architecture. So the distribution services are capable of publishing messages to the APIs, publishing message to the API, or receiving message through APIs. So modern cloud POS or iPad-based POS systems can create, they are coming with the APIs. Even the NCR or Micros kind of POS systems, the latest versions and the newer releases are coming up with the API capabilities. The only thing is the challenge is adoption is a challenge, which is what we are addressing here. So if there is a API available as part of the modern POS, the API can be consumed by the Aura's Omni and then feed the data to the API. So either a legacy system or modern POS system, still Auras can communicate with or without the help of store service bus or store service bus engine. Hope that
Thanks, Hari. Yes. So we have another question from our audience, which is, how is the data mapping handled with the legacy POS?
Okay, so this is a really challenging place. So what we are trying to address here, or what is the reason for us to, or how we can address this, is by adopting a standardization. So as I indicated in the conversation, every POS system varies from the model, data model, and the interfacing model, and the way that they capture the data elements. So every system is different. There is always a challenge on the mapping preparation. So we can address it in two ways. What we have addressed it here is by adopting NRF standard. On the platform side, or Omni integration platform side, we have adopted a NRF standard. So the platform communicates in a common language, the common beta element, common schemas, common business elements, entities. But when the POS system comes into picture, the store service engine comes with advanced mapping capability. It's kind of user-defined mapping. So we created those mapping based on the information provided based on the POS system, and map it out in the industry standard XSLT format, and then uploading that into the store service engine. The store service engine dynamically loads those mapping and then works with the legacy POS system to understand the POS language of data and elements and convert that into the standard of NRF and push the standard of NRF data sets to the APIs. So the APIs are all standardized. The data sets are standardized. The mapping has to be happen in the store service engine side, and that happens more of dynamic mapping with the help of XSLT engine that built as part of the store service bus. That address the way how we can handle the mapping. We also coming up with a roadmap of coming up with the automated mapping model, which once that particular version releases, then automatically we can load based on the input provided. The system can automatically create the dynamics of XSLT and then load that into the server, load that into the system, the store service engine, and then deliver that. So once that release is coming, this will be more advanced. Right now we are handling through XSLTs and related mapping exercises. I hope that addresses that.
Thanks, Hari. So Hari will wait for a couple of more minutes to just see if we get some more questions, and then we can wrap up the session.
Sure.
So I think there are no more questions here. So that brings us to the end of the webinar today, and we thank you all on behalf of Aspire Systems for joining us today. Have a good day.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you.